Nay San Lwin is the coordinator of the Free Rohingya Coalition. He joins us from Frankfurt in Germany. Nay San, thank you so much indeed for your time. I just want to read a very short quote from a report that was published just a few hours ago by the London-based Burma Human Rights Network. It says, in the past year, the Burmese military unleashed new military campaigns throughout the country, tortured and murdered civilians, burned down entire villages, and used sexual violence as a weapon of war. Is there ever going to be any accountability for what's been happening?
Well, there is this military has committed the genocide, crime against humanity, war crime for more than 60 years, and they keep committing all this crime because of the impunity. There was no accountability at all against this military. Now we have the case at the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, and also at the Argentina Court. Those are for the Rohingya, but the government, the National Unity Government, which has the mandate from the people, they are trying for this accountability. They have submitted the application to the International Criminal Court. Still, but even those court, they can issue the arrest warrant. The courts do not have the law enforcement. So what we want is normality in the country, civilian get the civilian power back. So those the criminal who have been keep committing all those crimes, we can try domestically, and also we can hand them to the international court.
Do you believe the junta when it says that it will hold those promised elections? And if those elections do go ahead, how can they be free and fair when quite clearly the junta is trying to demolish the National League for Democracy, especially its leader, and keeps putting her on trial and finding her guilty so that she's effectively going to serve the rest of her life in jail?
Well, the same thing happened in 2010. This is not the first time coup in Myanmar. This is the third time in 60 years. Most of the time, military ruled the country. Only the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, civilian government ruled the country with the limited power. And of course, in 2010 also the same military held the election and handed the power to the quasi-civilian government. So I think the same thing will repeat. And May Aung Hlaing, the reason he staged the coup last year is, he had no chance to become the president of the country. So since there are a lot of pressure from the international community, he will try to be the civilian leader in 2013. That is what we are expecting. And meanwhile, the revolution across the country, the resistance across the country is raising day by day. I think in next year we won't need to talk about the second anniversary of this military coup. I believe that we will win within this year.
That same report that I started with, it says that the threat of a full-blown civil war lingers because skirmishes have begun in previously calm areas and that fighting has resumed, war has resumed in ethnic regions. A lot of the civilians who have been protesting, some of them have formed kind of self-defense units. I mean, is the threat of civil war real?
Well, the civil war is ongoing for 70 years, longest civil war, since the independence of, we gained the independence from the British colonial in 1948. After a few years, the civil war began. But still, the ethnic armed group are fighting against the military for greater autonomy and for the federal union. So now the new thing is the younger generation, they call themselves Generation Z. They joined the fight. They were trained at by the ethnic armed group, and they came back to their city, like the Sagaing region and the Magui region. They are like the liberated area. The junta, they don't control many area especially in the Chin state and also the Karen state and the Kachin state. So basically, the international community is seeing that that the military coup happened. They thought that the military is controlling, but that this coup is the failed coup. Many area are controlling by those self-defense forces, and that the people defense force under the NUG government, and there are the local defense forces. They are controlling the area. So I think in a few months we will see the clear picture of whether this country is controlling by the people or the junta. Maybe at the end the junta will have only the country capital Naypyidaw. All other place will be controlled by those defense forces.
Nay San Lwin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.